Hey guys, I'm your host, Sarah Thomas, and I'm so excited you tuned into Fit Girl Talk Radio as always. If you're listening on a podcast platform, hop over to YouTube and catch the video of me and our special guest. And then that way you can leave comments or give us a like or anything like that. I'm still trying to get the YouTube stuff like under control, so any advice or feedback on that is always greatly appreciated. Without further ado, we have on Monique Attia, and Monique is somebody I had on last January in season 1. Monique is all the way in Sydney, Australia, and she has honestly the most amazing, incredible story. Honestly, Monique, I don't think I have told you this yet, but your episode was one of our highest listened episode. Yes. So I am excited to see if listeners come back just to kind of hear the rest of your story at this point. But so you guys listening, I'm going to have Monique briefly touch on what she went through prior, but if you want to get into all the nitty gritty of all of that story, hop on over to season 1. The episode came out in January, so you can find that on wherever you listen to podcasts. So anyways, Monique, welcome, and tell us what's been going on in the last year.
Oh, mate, I mean, I cannot even believe what this year has done. Like between COVID, between having my surgery, like getting back to training, just like, it's literally been a roller coaster. I don't actually have any words. It's crazy.
I know. So, okay, I'm glad that you're kind of speechless because I have so many questions. So, first of all, before we dive in, let's tell listeners a super brief rundown of your story that we touched on last episode.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm Monique. I am 25 and I'm from Sydney, Australia. And my story is about my 80 plus kilo weight loss journey. Obviously with a gastric sleeve, that's not anything that's a secret, that is what it is. That's the gist of my story.
Yes. So if you're in the United States, that's like 171 pounds that Monique lost and has kept off. And if you are watching this on YouTube, she is gorgeous. I'm so glad you guys get to see her this time, because last time I just kept saying how beautiful she is and how blown away I am by her story and her dedication and motivation and consistency. And I'm so glad you guys can see her now. So that is her story. We talked all things gastric sleeve, what went into preparing for that, how she got to where she was, who pushed her to have the surgery, her fears, how it went, her recovery. All of that is in the first season. So moving forward now, Monique, let's briefly touch on COVID and when everything shut down. I thought of you so fast. I mean, I thought of so many people, but I knew that you had mentioned that your surgery was going to be in March, like late March or so. So did that get pushed back, or what happened with that?
So here is the most ridiculous, funny thing. When I, obviously when March happened and things were like here in Australia, things were closing down. There were rumors of operations not because it's an elective surgery. We're not going ahead. And I obviously was a little nervous because I was like, oh my God, I have waited already a few years, 2+ years for this surgery. It's not going to happen. Oh my God, what am I going to do? The day it came around, I had already spoken to the doctor. He goes, yours isn't cancelled as far as we are aware, so you're fine. The day I had my surgery at 10 p.m. at night, they cancelled every single elective surgery. I was like, sorry, God is a blessing. Like, that is exactly what it was. And I had, the next morning I woke up, I had all these messages because people weren't sure, but I had gone in at I think 10 a.m., 9 a.m. or something like that. But I got out at 8.5, 9 hours later.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get into all of that. But so thank God that you got it in
yes.
time. So that makes me so happy to hear. So COVID, so that's when everything kind of shut down. So now what is happening in Sydney with COVID right now?
So a lot of restrictions have eased. So just in the beginning, for a lot of us, we said, especially March, April and May, couldn't have people to your house, couldn't, like you couldn't go to the gym, you couldn't go to restaurants, like you literally could not do anything. You were housebound. And a lot of people, I think, suffered, especially with the exercise, because yeah, you could go outside and have a walk, but the gym is such a different atmosphere. And especially for people who lift really heavy weights, who do like all that sort of functional training, it was just not easy. And then obviously you couldn't see people that you loved. And for me, especially getting out of like just being out of recovery, I missed my friends and my family so much. Like I remember FaceTiming them every day, and like all of us were just like, we just wanted to go over there and see people, and we couldn't. So it was hard, so hard.
But now
we can have up to 50 people in a house, but that's not really like, you know, when you go over at a family, it's like 10, 20 people, whatever.
Right.
But you can do that. You can have weddings now. We've been able to go to the gym since June 13, which was actually when I was allowed to start back training. So the day that the gyms closed was I had my surgery. The day that they opened, I was allowed to train again.
You must have some angels watching over you, because that is like perfection. So I thought I read something that said that Australia has no cases. I mean, Sydney has no cases. Is that true right now?
At the moment, we don't, as far as I'm aware. I mean, it's really bad. I don't keep a watch on it because I'm like, I can't deal with looking at it anymore. Out of everyone, I got really sick of COVID because I was like more housebound than anything, because my family were like, nah, don't go outside, don't go, especially because I just had all this cut off infection or whatever. So my friends could like go outside and have walks, but I was a little bit like, I couldn't do that because I was still in recovery and I couldn't move. And the stories I have are ridiculous, but yeah, it was really hard. Yeah.
Well, at least you guys are in like a good place right now, because in the United States, it's nothing like that. We're actually
you guys are in lockdown.
Yeah, we're moving in the opposite direction. Our numbers are like continuously getting crazier, and it's just been, it's been one hell of a year. So we don't even need to get into what's happening here. I was just very genuinely curious about what was going on out there. So I'm glad to hear that things are looking up. All right, so let's talk your surgery. So what went into prepare? Tell the listeners what you had done.
So I had what the technical term was a brachioplasty and a breast augment. It's not an augmentation. I'm going to call it a total freaking reconstruction, because that's exactly what it was. Okay. So brachioplasty basically means cutting off all the excess skin around your arms and the top. And then obviously the breast reconstruction is having everything completely redone. Now, most people either get a boob job to get bigger, or they fix something, or they get a reduction or whatever. The words that I have about mine are not normal, because when the doctor came out, he was like, Monique, I think I literally just built you a new chest. I was like, yeah. Yeah. Because mine were not like, this is real and honest and raw, this sort of podcast. Mine were horrible. Okay. Because when obviously you lose that much weight, it's like 80 kilos or 170 pounds or whatever, your body does not hold the elasticity the same. So everything sags, right? So obviously my chest was literally down to here. And people think I'm exaggerating. I'm not. Ask my friends, they've seen it. So yeah, it was completely redone.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So if you're on a podcast platform, you obviously at this point have to be curious. So you have to hop over to YouTube to see, because Monique, you are gorgeous. And I am so hyped that you have on a tank top. It's also, is it summer there?
It is like 40 degrees outside. It is
40 degrees Celsius. So
yeah, 40 degrees Celsius. So I'm not, what's that in,
I don't know. But it's warm.
Right, but it's hot, guys. It's hot. Like, I'm sweating.
So I'm so jealous, because not only is it like COVID-free land over there, it's also summer there. So you guys are just like living in paradise right now. But so I'm so glad you have on a tank top, because I just feel like that like totally embodies like your confidence and where you're at now in life. Because
I would never wear this kind of top. Like, it's very, very bold, this kind of top. It's like a bustier sort of thing. But I'm like, when I got out of this surgery and my, like obviously the fluid started to go down, I started to be more bold with what I was wearing, which for me, if you know me, I'm like, used to cover everything up. And then I just was like, you know what, stuff that. I'm just going to wear what I want.
Yes. Okay. That is so good. So what did you have to do to prepare for this surgery?
So for this surgery, obviously I didn't have to do any like weird sort of prep in the sense of like getting my body ready. What I did have to make sure was that I lost as much weight as possible before I did this, which was why I think it was good that I couldn't do it in the year before, because I still needed a lot of weight to lose and things like that. So it was a bit hard because like I would gain, I would lose, I would gain, I would lose. So it's a little bit in between. But I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I've tried as much as I can to lose as much as possible and get my body right. And I was training still 6 times a week, every single week, to make sure that I could get my body tight and as tight as what I could think I could get it before it was cut.
Right.
Yeah.
So then you went in for surgery. You said it was how many hours?
I was under for about 8.5 to 9 hours.
Oh my gosh. So did they
Oh, yeah.
predict that it was going to take that long, or did it take longer?
No.
So what happened?
So he so he was like, I only found this out after like I sort of like was mentally able to function, because like when I got out, I was just a wreck. Like being under for that long is not a normal sort of thing. Like you look at heart surgeries and things like that, and they're under for so long and the person just wakes up completely unaware. What happened is that he underestimated what my skin was going to do and how it was going to look and whatever. And he, bless his soul, this doctor, he wanted to make everything perfect because he knew obviously how much because I was an unusual patient for him. He had never had anyone that lost that much. Wow. Especially at this age.
Yes.
So
how old are you?
I'm 25.
25.
So I was 24 when I did this one. So he didn't have anyone do this before. So he took around 5.5 to 5.5 kilos of skin just off the top. Yeah. Wow. That's not even my stomach. That's literally from here to here.
Wow. So did he run into complications, or?
There weren't any complications in the sense of like things going wrong or anything like that. I do know I lost a lot of blood, which they were a little bit scared of, but it wasn't too much to the point where they had to freak out.
So then when you got out, what does recovery look like for something like that?
I think if I'm going to be 100% honest, it was the hardest recovery I've ever done.
Really?
The hardest. Like, I was in a lot of pain for a good 2 months.
Really?
A lot of pain, a lot of swelling. I was actually really depressed when I did it because I was in so much agony. Everything was sore, everything was hurting. I couldn't sleep properly for 2 months because you're not allowed to sleep on your side, not allowed to sleep here. I literally didn't eat the first week to 2 weeks because I just physically couldn't stomach. Like the anesthetic, I think when you do these kinds of surgery, I think it's the anesthetic that affects you, because I refused also to take painkillers because I didn't want to put that stuff in my body, because every time I do, I end up being worse.
Right.
So I literally did it cold turkey. I only took the antibiotics.
It is not recommended.
Yeah, it's not recommended, guys. It's just, that was just me. I did take the antibiotics because you have to, and I 100% swear by that. But I didn't take painkillers because every time I take them, I get really sick and nauseous, and that could just be how my body reacts to it.
Sure. And I've actually heard of some other people that respond like that. Like as soon as they take one, their body just like rejects it and they just like throw it up. So, oof. Okay. So you got through all of that. Meanwhile, COVID is hot and heavy, so you can't see anybody. And then the gyms opened up. So were you able, how long did it take to get back to your training? Because you were training hard.
So my very, very first session back was with my trainer, Gaz. God bless him. He's just the most amazing person. He's been through everything with me with this. So he was my very first person like that I trained with. Like I didn't go into the gym. I just went straight to him. And the first thing we did was a squat. and to hold the bar on me was it was like a kid walking for the first time. I was so excited, but I was so freaking scared.
Yeah.
And it took me quite a while to get back into training. And I've only just recently been able to sort of squat the same, deadlift the same. Like I was getting, before I was training, before the surgery, I was able to get to really high numbers with squatting and lifting. My form was great. And then I literally had to go back to square one. Couldn't bend forward because obviously I've just had all this chest stuff. And you had to be careful with your arms and the placement, and like I didn't want to rip stitches. So it was crazy. It was crazy.
So did you do anything from your chest down?
No.
Okay.
The only reason I didn't was because if I plan to have kids, they're like, there's no point. It's going to go back out. There's no point.
Gotcha. So now you're back in the gym and everything's going well.
Everything is going well. I've actually, it's really good because my training has sort of developed in a different way. Like my body is starting to adapt better to it, which is really, really interesting. I think it's because I was so focused on making sure that I did right by this surgery. And this is what people don't realize. They think that they have a tummy tuck or they have a boob job or whatever, and they think it's going to make everything better. You still have to put in the work. And like, I'm in there 6 times a week, all the time, training my legs, training everything to try and get my body as tight as I possibly can. And it's never going to be the same ever, unless like from a normal person who hasn't had this, it's never going to be the same, but at least I can try.
Well, you look amazing. So, okay. So now that it's all done, like, are you on cloud 9? Are you like in disbelief? Do you just like stare at yourself? Like, is this me?
So I love the top half of my body. Actually, you know what? No, I actually love my whole body. Okay. And that's the first time I've ever saying this. Yes, I still have bits that are like, I've still got excess skin in certain parts of my body, but I don't look at that. Like I can comfortably stand in front of the mirror naked and be like, yep, that's fine. That's me, whatever.
Yay! You have earned it. I mean, like you are one of the hardest working, dedicated individuals that I've ever had the honor of meeting, honestly. I mean, and now I've watched your story and I watch your Instagram and I've been following you for so long now, and to see like you are in the gym and like I said, I thought of you because I remember on season 1 when you were telling me all about your gastric sleeve surgery, you were like, and by the way, I just found out I'm going to have all of my excess skin removed. I was like, what? Like I had no idea.
Yes.
So I've been so excited to follow you through all of that. And then COVID hit and I did get very worried. I didn't know what that was going to look like for you and with that surgery and recovery. So I'm so happy you got that done. You look so amazing. I can see your confidence and happiness like radiate through your Instagram, honestly. And like now that it's summer, like it's like your time, and I'm so excited for you. So what does training and nutrition look like at this point for somebody that's gone through all of these things? Your body's been through so much. Like I remember you telling me about how little you were able to eat at the time, but now it's been almost another year. So has that changed? Has your nutrition changed?
My nutrition in the sense of what I eat hasn't changed. Like I still eat healthy, like I have my treats here and there. Actually, funnily enough, it's been quite difficult eating, actually. My body goes through these moments of I'm so mentally and physically hungry, but my body just shuts down and won't ingest food. And I actually know a few people who have had this sleeve and like 3 or 4 years down, and they're experiencing the same thing. And I'm like, isn't that funny? Because everyone was like, are you sure? Like you can't just think. I was like, no, I literally can't. And it's the most frustrating thing because my training actually can't keep up with how I'm eating, because I can't just eat a proper steak and salad and carbs like a normal person. I have to try and find foods that work with me. But obviously I still want them to be nutritionally dense. So things like beef and chicken and protein to eat a good amount to sustain my training is really, really hard.
I just love the way your mindset is around food, and because somebody that's gone through everything that you've gone through, I don't know if it's your trainer that has instilled this in your brain or if it's just genuinely who you are as a human, but like you are so clear headed and focused on what you need to be doing to be healthy and to be reaching your next
Yeah.
goals. I mean, like listening to you just say that, you know, you want to be fueling yourself properly for your workouts and for your training, and you know that what you need is this, and this, and your body can't hold all of it at one time, and it frustrates you, is just so inspiring to me that you've just maintained such a clear level head throughout all of this, because I could imagine that it's a slippery slope for a lot of people that have lost that much weight, that went through all of that. I feel like it could go one way or the other, both on bad extremes.
Yes.
So listening to how focused you are on what you need to be doing is just so, it's so motivating, honestly. So do you find that you have times where like, do you think that you go through like more frustrations than what somebody that hasn't gone through all of this goes through, or do you think that you just like know what you need to do?
I think so. Look, as I said, this is an honest sort of podcast. I get frustrated, I think, because a part of me, there's that 1%, and it's really small. And it's only because there's that 1% of me that goes, what if I never had this, right? What if I never did this surgery or whatever, where would I be? And I was actually sitting with one of my best friends, Crystal, and I looked at her and I said, like, I wonder what her, she goes, Monique, don't even think about it. She goes, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. So I go, you know what? I am happy to not be able to eat like a normal person and not be able to do all those things, but still be here and feel much more confident, because being 151 kilos and being unhappy and depressed does not compare to being able to eat 2 bites of food, but being able to watch your family and friends grow and be there with them and get to work and get to like just live your life in the way that you can.
There's so much more to life. And
100%. And there's so much more to life than your food and nutrition and training. Like, I've got friends that are like heavy to the gym and they'd be like, no, training is everything. I'm like, yes, it is everything, but you also need to enjoy your life and
yes,
have fun. Like, we're young, like we get to do that.
yes. And I am just so happy because you went through it all, and I see you going out, and I know you can't even go out that much because of COVID, but like, I know you're getting to go out and do some stuff and see friends, meet new people. And like I said, your confidence is just like, it radiates. And so I'm just so happy that you got it all done. So what happens next?
I think at the moment, I'm obviously concentrating on making sure that all these scars are protected and heal nicely. Because obviously there's risk of like the scars not opening up or anything, but being raised. So I have to be really careful with my skin, make sure I moisturize, make sure I put the right products on it, and obviously make sure I actually still train those parts of your body. And this is a big thing that people don't realize. You have to still train those parts, because if you don't, there is a risk, especially because of the elasticity isn't the same when you do that. You have to make sure to keep everything intact. And that's such an important thing for anyone who ever does want to do it, whether it's your chest or your stomach or your legs or your chin, anything you do.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So,
yeah.
So do you get nervous still, like training triceps or anything like that? Does it like chest? Does it scare you, or is everything?
Chest is the scary one. I have this fear that like one of my implants just going to pop out in the middle of the gym. But that's not, guys. That's not going to happen. Like, and if it does, well, God bless. Go get some help. But like, it's not going to do that. I just have this fear because. Yeah. You know me, I'm a walking hazard, so that's what happens.
So yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of people listening that have had either whatever kind of breast surgery they've gone through, whether it's enhancement or whatever. And I've seen a lot of people that like train in the gym that after they're cleared and they're working out, like everything feels weird, like from movements that we didn't even know would feel weird. Like it just feels uncomfortable.
It is so weird. Like I have only recently, because I got the all clear from my doctor, recently started doing chest press kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The feeling I have of it, you can feel it pull. Yeah. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of people go through that. So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Well, Monique, anything that we didn't get to, any like advice for anybody going through something like this or anything that you wanted to add?
I think if anyone does do this, make sure, obviously, first of all, do your research on the doctor, do your research on everything, and mentally prepare yourself. This is, as I said, this was one of the hardest surgeries I ever did, because you are literally, your body is trying to fight and heal and do all of that in that process once you get out. So really do it justice, eat properly, drink your fluids, take your medicine, go for, like, do all the stuff that you should for your body, but also do a lot of self-care. And I think for a lot of people, that's what we did in COVID, was take care of ourselves. And I think work is work, life is life, but you need to take care of yourself, because you've only got yourself. We really do.
Yeah, and that goes for everyone. And I feel like on all these episodes since season 2 started, it's like I talk about COVID in all of them, and I don't want to, but it is the reality of what the world is going through.
It is. It's a big part. And what people don't realize is that everyone went through it differently. And I was very concerned about people's mental health a lot. And it's a big, big factor. Whether you're a guy, whether you're a girl, whether you're a kid, like it really, really affected everyone. And I was so worried about a lot of the people that I was friends with and cared about, because I was like, I'm going to check in on them, even though I'm going through a really, really tough time. I want to make sure that they're okay, because especially with COVID, that's what it is. It was crazy for everyone.
And that's just the person you are. So, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so happy our paths have crossed in life. And I can't wait to continue watching what's next for you. And as your life evolves and as your confidence grows and everything, I just can't wait to see what happens next for you. And before we wrap up, just wanted to tell all of you guys listening, make sure you like, subscribe, yada, yada. I hate saying all that stuff, but do it for me. Do it for Monique. Tell us what you liked. Follow her on her Instagram if you want. It's at Monique Attia. And I will tag all of her socials in the description of this podcast and on our Instagram at Fit Girl Talk Radio. But seriously, follow her, because it's just fun to watch her, because she's not like a fitness and nutrition page. She's like a real person that's going through so many things in life, and just like watching you go through all this is just so fun for me. And I encourage you to share more. So we're watching and we're motivated and inspired. And so, so keep sharing it and everything that you do. So I think that's all I have. Did you have anything else?
No, thank you so much for having me. I'm really very honored and blessed to have been able to share my story, because as you said, there were so many people who are going through this, and I still get so many people from you slide into my DMs going, "Oh my God, I just watched your story. Can you please give me advice?" I'm like, this is great. Like, someone actually wants, I love it. If I could write a book, I probably will, because it is there's so many things.
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe that's what will happen next. Next time I have you on, maybe we'll be talking about your book.
Definitely.
Okay, Monique. Well, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful summer, and I hope to have you on again next year.
Thank you.